So I'm going to go through this presentation, and because we're a pretty small group, if you have any questions, ask as we go along. Okay, does that sound like a good deal? By show of hands? Thumbs up? All right, perfect. Thank you. So full disclosure, I've had a lot of cold medicine and only 1 cup of coffee. So for those of you who know me know I drink a lot of coffee, but not today. So stop me at any point. All right, so apparently I'm not even sharing my screen yet. So I'm going to share my screen and then we're going to get started. All right, let's go back to, whoopsies. Hello? What did I just do wrong? Huh, that's funny. What's going on? Let's try this one more time. Can I share my screen? Oh, can you give me, I should be able to share, right?
Yeah, made you co-host.
Huh. Oh, here we go. Okay. Can everybody see? Can everybody see my screen? Career prep, fall.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So the purpose of this, and ironically, it's on Zoom, so that's not lost on us. But we wanted to capture students from both campuses, and there will be another one for any of your friends or colleagues who missed today. Pat's going to do one next week. This is geared primarily for the accounting and finance recruiting event next Thursday. The reality is the information that we're going to cover is good for any recruiting event that you go to. And on the Metro campus, I know that there was maybe a volunteer part-time opportunity today, right, with the club fair. And I know on September 28th, there's going to be a much larger career fair in the Rothman Center. And for those of you that are on the Florham campus, there will be a van that will run you from Florham to Metro. And for anybody on the Metro campus interested in the accounting and finance recruiting event, we will have a van that you must sign up for from Metro to Florham. So all of this is pertinent for any career fair that you go to. So as I said, if you have any questions, I would just ask that you ask as we go along, since we're such an intimate group. All right, away we go. Maybe not. Oh, yeah, it's going to be one of those days. Okay, so what we're going to cover. We're going to cover the upcoming fall career fair. As I mentioned, not only do we have our accounting and final career fair, but there is one for the general university. And what we discussed this afternoon is pertinent to that as well. In Handshake, which I hope you all have your profile, and for our freshmen, if you don't have your profile, I'm happy to stay on a little after and explain to you why you want to sign up for Handshake. But Handshake is how you're going to register to attend the career fair. So again, whether you choose to attend the accounting and finance, which we hope you do, or the general university career fair, you would need to register. We're going to cover what to do before, during, and after the fair. We're going to talk about networking. And of course, the most important, your resume. Not mine or Missy's, but yours. Any questions so far? All right.
I have one before you start.
Okay.
I'm not an accounting or finance major, but like I'm trying to figure out if marketing really is what I want to do. So that's why I just want to like keep my options open. So is it smart to go to the fair? Like the accounting?
So, kind of, maybe, sort of. So I'm going to cover how you're going to decide best. And if I don't, stay on after Annette, and then we can talk about that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So the Fall 23 Job and Internship Fair, specifically for accounting and finance, is going to be held next Thursday, September 14th, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's going to be at the Ferguson Rec Center. If you need a ride, this is going to be how you're going to sign up and get it. So this is really for anybody from Metro. Let's see how well this actually worked. Ta-da! You can find this link in Handshake. Missy, keep me honest, right? That's a true statement?
Yeah, and I'll put it in the chat here as well.
So you follow all the directions. It's really, really important that you sign up and that we have an accurate head count. If you sign up, there is an expectation you're going to show up, because if you don't, then you're taking a spot from another person and you're not going to be allowed to sign up another time. So really just use it if you know you're going to sign up. Okay. So the virtual, there's also a virtual recruitment event on October 4th. This is a little bit different. I think it's a little bit more challenging. So in person, you can really see the person that you're talking to. You can see if they're 5 feet tall like I am. You can see if they're like 5'5" like Missy is. You can get a sense as to what they're all about. On virtual, really all you get is like their head and their eyeballs. And so you have to work a little bit harder. So if you are interested in the October 4th recruitment event, you still need to register and sign up and handshake. And I'm happy to work with you just for 5 or 10 minutes to remind you of very specific things that you need to be paying attention to. But most importantly, right now, either for a recruiting event, just a coffee chat, if you will, online, even a class. If you look at the screen, you're not looking at the person. If you look at the camera, it appears that the person's looking directly at you. Does everybody see that? I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking out the window. I'm looking at the camera. And it's really hard to focus at looking at the camera because you feel like you can't read the social cues and maybe the reaction of the people that you're speaking to. So you have to really start to practice and think about looking at the camera, looking down, looking at the camera, looking down. You can still speak with your hands if that's what you choose to do, but you want to make sure that your hands aren't waving all around. Just as you want to be sure that when you're in front of somebody at either recruiting event, the accounting and finance, or the larger university one on Metro, that you're not waving your hands around, because I have seen over the years somebody smack the person behind them or knock a bottle of water out of somebody's hands. Don't be that person. So keep your hands relatively in front of you and still, and pay attention to your surroundings. Much harder online, but that's what you want to pay attention to. Any questions? It sounds really straightforward and simple, but I can promise you that when you get caught up in the moment and there's so many people you want to talk to and you're looking at the other people and wait, I think I know that person from my class, and wow, I really want to go to that company. Wait, what's that swag? I don't really want that company, but I really want that water bottle for whatever reason. You forget all the things that we're going to talk about. And so I'm asking you, jot down some notes right now. Just jot down the notes just so you can remember, because it's all practice. Okay, handshake. This is not the handshake, hi, nice to meet you. This is the handshake that the university uses to help everybody find opportunities. So for those of you that are my freshmen, does this logo look familiar, this yellow logo? Anybody? The two people?
Yes.
Okay, so if you haven't already, you want to set up your LinkedIn profile and your handshake profile. And how you want to set up your handshake profile is at least 35% right now as a freshman, which basically means that it has the right year that you're graduating. If you know your exact major, you want to be sure that that's correct. If you're undecided, that's okay too. And a picture, not a picture from like your high school graduation in that cap and gown, maybe a picture of the night that you went out to dinner with your family, or maybe you had a lunch, or maybe your first day of classes here. A picture that represents you, that makes you look professional, but not like very, very conservative and corporate, and like nobody's going to take it like, wow, this is a college student. They look so rigid. Just be yourself, right? Just a picture that you look really nice, that you're comfortable with, that you want to put on your handshake profile. And then you want to be sure that it has some information about you. So if you've never had a job, maybe you joined a club in high school. Maybe you were part of the marching band in high school or something else. You want to make sure that that information is listed there. If you're currently an FDU student and you've joined clubs, you want to be sure that those clubs are there, maybe even some relevant courses. Every student has an account. So you definitely want to check when we're done today to make sure that you have your account. And if you don't, let me know and we can get you an account. And you can get yourselves an account by FDU.joinhandshake.com. And just let me know that if you didn't have an account and you've set one up, I can just approve you. So just let me know. Once you get into Handshake, you're going to see that it's an incredible wealth of information. So in Handshake, you can apply for jobs and internships on and off campus. There's lots of different filters that you can use to help yourself narrow down exactly what it is that you're looking for. You can register for all of our events and the career fair. And the reason why we ask you to register for our events and our career fair is so we actually have an idea of how many students are going to attend. It's really, really important that we have an accurate count for two reasons. One, for ourselves, because we want to know what's successful and what's not. And two, for our employers, because employers will ask, how many students do you expect? And if we say 296 and 45 show up, ruh-roh, not so great. So it's really important that we have accurate numbers, not to the exact student, but definitely within 20 students. So please really be thoughtful about it, registering and then attending. But what's even more exciting about using Handshake is that you can go in and you can check out all the different companies. Okay, so if you go, and I'm going to see if this is going to open, whoopsies. Am I going to be able to get this in? All right, hang on one second. I'm going to go into Handshake and show all of you directly what it looks like. Oh, we have a lot more people who joined. Okay, welcome those of you who were late. If you've missed anything, I'm happy to cover it again in the beginning. Okay, so for those of you, I'm going to go into, is anybody brave enough to let me use their Handshake profile?
You can use mine if you want.
Thanks, Haley. All right, I'm just going to pull this up. Right now, I'm pretending, for the purposes of this exercise, that I'm Haley Baker. And so what that means is that I'm going to go in. Haley, did you register for this event yet or no?
I thought I registered, but then couldn't figure out where that confirmation was.
Got it. Okay, we're going to do it together right now. Can everybody see Haley Baker? Okay, so this is Haley Baker. We're going to go into view this as user. So now I'm really, really Haley Baker. Haley's a golfer, for those of you who don't know. See, Haley has a picture and she has all her information. So we're going to go into events. It's on the far left side of your screen. And within the events, you'll see Silberman College of Business, Accounting, and Finance. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to say join the event. Haley's going to go to the event. Will you require transportation, Haley?
Yes, but am I actually gonna have to go?
Okay, we're not going to do you for transportation, but here's where you would do transportation. No, so we're going to say no. Okay. Okay, everybody sees where it says 8 days away? Yes, everybody sees that? 8 days away. Okay, see more employers. So every employer as of today that has already registered is listed. I'm going to go to BASF Corporation. There's information about BASF, including what exactly they're looking for. So when they attend on September 14th, they're specifically looking for students for full-time jobs and internships in major groups like accounting, economics, finance, and financial management. They're looking for sophomore, juniors, seniors, and masters. So here's a really interesting thing for my freshmen. If these companies are looking for interns for the summer of 24, at that point, freshmen, you will be rising sophomores. Anybody who's currently a sophomore, summer of 24, will be a rising junior. So accounting and finance companies hire a year in advance. So this is where you want to start to look at the companies and what they're looking for. Okay. At this time, they only want students that have US work authorization. So for any international student that at this time, they're not interested in hiring somebody who may need OPT. If we look at a company like CBiz, it's a huge accounting firm. They're telling you exactly what they're looking for. So they're looking for internships and full-time jobs and co-op students, right? All the way until spring and summer of 25. They want freshmen. They're putting it right out there because they're saying, we know by summer of 24, you're going to be a rising sophomore. We know but by summer of 25, you're going to be a rising junior. So every company that you're interested in has a blurb about themselves and exactly what it is that they're hiring for. So in that, the answer to your question, if you're looking for marketing, you may want to see if any of these companies have a marketing arm. Their major focus right now is accounting and finance. You may have better luck at the recruiting events at the end of September on campus. But go through and see if there's a company that you are specifically interested in and see if there's not a contact that you could reach out to.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. But there's lots and lots of different companies. Cohn Resnick, Deloitte, DLA, Eisner Ampner, Equitable for anybody interested in wealth management, financial services, the IRS. The IRS, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they do want US work authorization. But what's interesting is JP Morgan Chase, they will in fact sponsor an international student. They're willing to sponsor candidates. So it's not an absolute done deal, but it's definitely something that they're open for. So every company that will be at our event is posted here. Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. It's the office in Purchase, New York. So it's a specific arm. Nisavacia hires a lot of our students. New Jersey Transit. Everybody knows New Jersey Transit. If you've ever taken the train into New York City or the bus, that's New Jersey Transit, path not included. And it gives you more information about what they're looking for too. They also would be open for OPT for an appropriate student. Novartis is a pharmaceutical company. Sort of interesting that they are going to be here, but they are specifically looking for a finance intern for next summer. And they want somebody who's in business administration and management. Yes? Did somebody have a question? Okay. So they're looking for people not only with finance and financial management experience, but general business as well. They want somebody who's currently a junior. So they're looking for somebody for 2024 who would be a rising senior. PKF O'Connor has hired a bunch of our students, as has Planning Alliance. Last year, actually last semester, a group of 20 students went to Prager Medicine, New York City. We went for a site visit. That was pretty cool. They are a very good company to work for. And they are, again, for the right student, willing to sponsor as well. And they're looking for alumni, masters, seniors, juniors, sophomores. Remember, freshmen, you will be sophomores next year. Reckitt's another company. Any questions about Handshake and how to use this to set up your account and or looking for appropriate opportunities or companies that you're interested in? Any questions? Okay. It's important that you know where to find this information. It's important that you know where to find this information for a couple of reasons. One, the next slide that I'm going to pull up. Hang on. The next slide is going to talk about researching the company. So although it'll appear that you may have just a few minutes with the employers, we highly, 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 and more, encourage you to really research these companies because it's imperative that you know more about this company. So this is part of the before, during, and after. This is just a view of our event Missy, this was from last spring or last fall?
Spring.
Okay, so this is a lot of companies. There's a lot of people. Think of this as like an aerial view without the actual drone. This is probably Missy taking it from high above. There may not be as many tables, but every table will be 6 feet tall. Every table will have some kind of swag and materials and banner. So you'll be able to identify all the companies that you're interested in speaking to. Some representatives, some of the companies will have 1 representative, some will have 2 or 3. If they have 2 or 3, they're looking to maximize the number of students they can speak with in that short period of time. 3 hours seems like a long time, but I assure you it will fly by. So the reason why we ask that you really pay attention before, not only do you want to register for Handshake and sign up for the individual and/or group sessions, in this case, they're all in person. In the future, you may see, oh, JP Morgan Chase is going to have a virtual event. I want to sign up for that. Oh, I just got an email from a recruiter from JP Morgan Chase or Morgan Stanley, and I want to learn more about that organization. Then you're going to want to sign up and attend that event. But it's imperative before you attend the recruiting event next Thursday that you research the company. Research what it is they do, maybe some of their clients, certainly some of their goals, some of their values. Do they match yours? Are they things that you're interested in learning about? And then look to see what types of opportunities they're offering, either at our event next week or the one at the end of the month, to ensure that you are really interested in that and can speak specifically to, I'm interested in an accounting internship for the summer of 24. I'll be a rising senior. I'm currently an accounting major with a finance minor. I'm currently undecided in the business school. I've just joined. I'm a freshman. I want to understand what opportunities are out there for me, and I would love just to get to know you. Can we talk for a few minutes? May I have your card? May I follow up? Every conversation will be a little different. Any questions or comments about that? Okay. Before the fair, print copies of your resume. But even before you print the copies of the resume, please pinky promise me, everybody, pinky promise me that you are going to make sure that you use spell check for your resume. Most candidates make an error on their resume in their email address or their phone number. The two things that you would think that we just know backwards and forwards, we read over it and we don't look at it. So if you have any doubt about your resume, I'm happy to review it. Pat's happy to review it. Career Services, if they have time, may be happy to review it. But is your resume ready for the fair? There's a poll. Please respond. Oh, there's more than 2 people. I hope that changes a little bit. Come on, a couple more people. All right. Couple people. All right, here we go. Thank you. Your resume is a work in progress, right? It's a living document. It's always going to be changing. But for now, it's really important that you have a resume that represents you at this point in your career. If you're a freshman, I can send you a template. Ask me after this call. I'm happy to send you a template so you can follow to set it up. So you have a college-ready resume. If you're a sophomore, or junior, or a senior, and you have a lot of experience, or maybe you haven't updated it from your summer experience, now is the time. Any questions about that? Thanks, Missy. Well, no questions about resume. Listen, we appreciate you being honest. The reality is most students need to update their resumes and they just forget. Or it's the last thing you want to worry about. And we're asking you, at least for now, it should be one of the first things that you're concerned with between now and next week. Okay. So before the fair, you want to make sure that your resume is Paige or Pat approved. You want to be sure that you print enough copies. What's enough copies? Well, if you go through and you look at all the different companies you're interested in, and you see that there's 25 copies, I would suggest you have 35 resumes. Why? Because some people may ask for 2. Some people, there might be a company that you walk by and they call you over and they say, hey, Mandy, come talk to me for a second. Here's what I do. What do you do? What do you think you're interested in? Annette, oh, you're interested in marketing? You know what? I'm going to give this to my marketing director because I know in November she's going to start looking for interns. Do you mind? And so where you thought you may have only needed a handful, you'll be giving out a few more. It sounds silly, but I promise you, you need to be prepared. Updating your handshake profile is huge. A lot of employers will go back and say, oh, this is an FDU student. Let me go check out their handshake profile. I'm less concerned as a freshman having a LinkedIn profile, but any juniors and seniors should definitely have a LinkedIn profile. If you're going to put your LinkedIn profile URL on your resume, please, please, please consider it to be really spectacular. If you're not sure if it's spectacular, don't put the URL. Your resume is fine. And we can work together to get your LinkedIn profile to a place that makes you really happy. You also want to practice your elevator pitch. As some of the students that are in my career strategies class know, I live on the 28th floor of a high rise. When I say to somebody, give me your elevator pitch, I do not expect them to talk to me all the way up 28 floors. Somewhere between 30 seconds and 60 seconds. Here's my elevator pitch, and I'm a little under the weather, so if somebody wants to time me, be kind. I'm Paige Soltano. I'm the Director of Placement and Outreach for Silberman College of Business at FDU. My responsibilities are to ensure that all of the Metro students and undergrad and graduate students are eligible and ready for an internship and post-graduation employment opportunities. I also work with my colleagues to do all of the professional development in between. Any interest in getting to meet our students? I'd love a business card. Anybody time me?
It's about 24 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, around 20%.
So obviously I need to add a little bit more, but that's the cold medicine kicking in. But the point is, I'm not telling this person, whomever I'm sharing my elevator pitch with, not telling them that I'm only 5 feet tall, that I went to Stony Brook, I have my master's from Cornell, I have a long career in human resources working for some advertising and marketing companies. Orange is my favorite color. I happen to have a couple of kids of my own that are in college. I adopted a COVID puppy. I'm currently binge watching Suits. Like, I'm not sharing any of that. I'm just top lining my experience. And why am I interested in speaking with them? Because they have opportunities for my students, and that's my job. And I would love to get in front of them to learn more about their company, their organization, their opportunities for all of you. Make sense? Some of you may have had a class in the past where you've had to practice an elevator pitch, and there may have been a professor or two that said, oh, your elevator pitch should be somewhere between 2 to 4 minutes. Anybody have that experience? Oh, that makes me so happy. Okay, we've had students in the past. Not that long. Because if you tell them everything in your elevator pitch, there's no follow-up question. If somebody says to you, oh, it's so nice to meet you, tell me about yourself, you can do your elevator pitch. Short and to the point. You want to be expressive. You want to look them in the eye. You may want to use your hands. Be careful of the people around you so you don't knock anything out of their hands. What do you want them to know about you? What's the most important impression? What your year is at FDU, that you go to FDU, you're in Silberman College of Business, you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior grad student, majoring in, fill in the blank. You've done internships in the past 4. You're currently an athlete and your sport is. What's something that you really want to leave them with, and what do you want from them? Okay. You also want to be sure that you have questions prepared to ask the employers. I understand that it's not an interview. I understand that it's just an opportunity for a meet and greet and networking, but you need to have some questions. Maybe the question is, how does the actual recruitment process work? You're looking for interns now for summer of 2024. Do you start interviewing next week? Do you start interviewing in December? What is the process like? Is it just I talk to one person in human resources and then a manager, or am I talking to several people over the course of 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever it may be? How do you, my favorite interview question, and you may or may not want to use it here, but my favorite question is, how do you measure the success of an intern? How do you measure the success of a full-time person in whatever that role is? And the reason for that is because it shows that you're asking for feedback. You're interested in feedback for your own development. You're not always going to get it. There is going to be some companies and managers that are going to say, you're awesome. Don't worry about it. Everything you've done is great. And deep down, you know, there's something you probably could have done better or differently. So if you put it out there and you get comfortable throughout the process of networking or interviewing and then working at the end of an opportunity, asking for feedback, that's how you're really going to know what you need to work on and what you don't. It's not a sign of weakness. It's not a terrible thing. It's an opportunity for you to learn and grow and understand how other people see you. And there's nothing better than the gift of feedback. It truly isn't. And feedback from somebody that you're not related to, maybe like not a professor, is great, because this is somebody who can really evaluate you on your merits of whatever you've done. A project, a group project, an internship, a job. Maybe it's a part-time job. Maybe it's a remote job. Maybe it's a hybrid job. But they can give you feedback for things that you can do differently that you can then leverage and grow from for the next opportunity. Does anybody have a favorite question that they like to ask employers or think that they want to ask an employer? Don't be shy. All right, well, you think about that and we can come back to that. Dress to impress. Career closets are on both campuses. Cannot stress that enough. If you've taken the time to spell check your resume and have Pat and myself review your resume, and you've taken the time to go through Handshake and find all the different employers you're interested in talking to, please take the time to make sure you look your best. I'm not saying you need to go out and buy a new suit. I'm not saying you need to go out and buy a new tie or a new button-down shirt, but I am saying that you really need to wear clothes that will help you make the best first impression. Not what you wore Saturday night, but really what would you want to wear? What would you be comfortable wearing in a business environment? Okay. So we have on both closets, on both campuses, career closets. They're closed for you to borrow and keep. Lots of different sizes. On the Metro campus, the University Career Development has a lot of men's clothes. We have a lot of women's clothes. Literally the sizes range from 0 up to 16. And I know on Flora, they have a variety of clothes too. You can mix and match. You don't have to wear a suit. You might find a really great top with great bottoms. You may have your own shoes. I think we have a couple of pairs of shoes, not a lot. But now is the time to really make sure that you have shoes that you're comfortable walking in. Not the day to buy a new pair of heels and try walking around for 3 hours because the blisters, you'll wince when you're talking to people and you don't want to do that. Don't have to wear heels. You can wear flats. You can be comfortable, but you really want to make sure that you put your best foot out there and you give the best first impression that you can. And last but not least, you want to get the recruiter's information. How can I reach you? Is there a business card? I don't know if many of you know this, but if you're on LinkedIn, there's a way that you can go into your own profile. And in the search bar, if you hit enter, your own LinkedIn QR code will come up. Or the person that you're speaking to, their QR code will come up. And you can then take your camera and connect with them immediately. So business cards are great. Business cards can get lost. So if you do accept a bunch of business cards, be sure that you put them in a safe place. There's nothing more like, ew, when a recruiter is walking to the parking lot to get their car and they literally step on their own business card. Oh, somebody dropped me. I guess they weren't really serious. I wonder who that was. And the same with yourself. If you have, for whatever reason, decided that you wanted your own business cards, you want to make sure that a recruiter, if they ask for it, then you can give it. I wouldn't just offer it up because they'll have the information on your resume. When I was recruiting, I never took business cards because I was always afraid that I would be that employer who accidentally dropped it. So it was just better for me to hold all the resumes into a file. Any questions? Any comments? Okay. During the fair, stressing this again, eye contact, firm handshake. not the handshake yellow icon. This is like the real deal, like a firm handshake and posture. If you are looking at your phone and literally walking up and down aisles, looking on your phone, but you haven't stopped yet in front of JP Morgan Chase or Nisavacia or Mazars, I can assure you that the recruiters has one eye on the person in front of them and one eye watching you on your phone. Don't put it away. If you don't have a bag, you can use a knapsack. Just put your phone away. If it's in your pocket, it may be bulging, not necessary unless you're waiting for an emergency phone call. Then you can put it on vibrate, and then you can excuse yourself and leave the fair outside in the lobby to just check it. It is incredibly important that you are present for the time that you are actually at this career fair. Employers are giving up their time for all of you. If you're missing class or you're really looking for an opportunity, it is imperative that you make the most out of this as well. Ask questions. Ask questions. In the unlikely event that we have a horrific, I mean, after weather like today, I mean, I think everybody wants some rain, right? And some cool weather. But in the unlikely event that next Thursday happens to be 55 degrees, you can say, I can't believe this weather. Like, where were you last Wednesday? Well, maybe not say, where were you last Wednesday when the weather was so hot? But you can certainly say, I hope you had a great weekend and you enjoyed the great weather. I'm happy that it's starting to be cool. I'm looking forward to autumn. Something to break the ice. How long have you been at JP Morgan Chase? What do you enjoy most about it? And if you're really interested in that company, ask them the best way to apply. And smile. Smile doesn't cost anything. Smile. It's a little awkward smiling and being on and looking at somebody, but somebody that you've just met, but you'll get comfortable with it. You're going to smile at your colleagues and your peers that you're meeting down the hallway. I'm going to be there. Pat's going to be there. Missy's going to be there. These are familiar faces. Smile. Maybe you'll see somebody from your class that you haven't thought about in quite some time. Oh, how are you? How was your summer? Oh, what professor do you have? Oh my God, so much. I can't believe how much work we have already. I know. I'm really hoping that the midterm gets pushed back 2 weeks. Whatever that may be comfortable, but smile because everybody is in the same boat. And by the way, you guys realize it takes more muscles to not smile than it does to smile, right? Anybody know how many muscles it takes to like frown? All right. Well, you can look that up for later. So it's a lot easier to smile. And when you smile, your eyes light up. And when you smile, the intonation in your voice changes too. So who doesn't want to smile? We're also going to have a photographer taking professional headshots. So there will be a LinkedIn table. If you don't like your headshot, you can certainly have one. It's free. And by the way, if you take your professional headshot for LinkedIn, you can use the same one for Handshake. Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to care. And it shows that for your own personal branding, you're pretty consistent. Any questions? Everybody's good? I can go zip zip? Okay. After the fair, imperative. You want to submit applications to any employer that said, yes, our application process is opening on tomorrow, September 15th. Our application process is opening up on October 2nd. Our application process will open up on November 15th. Keep an eye out for this. You want to follow the directions. You can take notes. There's nothing wrong with you taking notes, maybe just jotting down on the back of a business card. A lot of employers will have handouts. You can make a note on the handout. A lot of them have all of the dates pre-printed, so you don't need to worry about that, but that's really important. For any employer that you met with, maybe you shook hands with, maybe you exchanged information, maybe you have something very specific in common, the same type of dog, the same birthday, not sure how that would come up, but maybe it did, maybe it's September 14th. You want to be sure that you send them a thank you. You can send them a thank you email. You want to reference something specific that you spoke about at the conference. If you send a thank you, it needs to be on point. You need to submit with the thank you. Dear Missy, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me about the internships and the full-time jobs at New Jersey Transit. I am very interested in the opportunities. I take New Jersey Transit to New York all the time. I really look forward to being considered for this specific internship opportunity. I've already submitted my application. You can reach me at this email address. Be sure to put in whatever email address that's on your resume, and here is my phone number. I look forward to hearing from you regarding next steps. Have a great day. Have a good evening. Thank you for the consideration. Sincerely, best, respectfully, your name. Spelling counts. I can't tell you, again, how many students and candidates over the years that I've received send thank yous with a typo. With a typo. The reason why I suggest that you give them your email address again and your phone number is that you want to make it as easy as possible for the recruiter. As easy as possible. If I have to start going through and looking for my files to find your resume, or to ask somebody on my team to go pull out Missy Quinn's resume, we're going to lose some time. But if I can just say, oh, Missy Quinn, yeah, she was the social media manager, right? She's the one who talked about wedding planning, and she's a great photographer. I'm just going to click right on her email, and I'm going to be able to respond to her immediately. Connect on LinkedIn, reference where you met them. You know, dear Paige, it was a pleasure to meet you at the FDU Accounting and Finance Recruiting event on Thursday, September 14th. I'd like to join your LinkedIn network. Thank you. Your name. Sounds pretty simple. Sounds so easy. I can't tell you, in the heat of the moment, people get nervous. We forget. Somebody may interrupt you accidentally. Maybe another student is coming and saying, oh, wait, I need to talk to Paige for just 2 minutes. I have to go catch the van or the bus, or I have a class. Can I just ask a question? You forget your train of thought. Take a deep breath, make yourself a note, and stay on track. And of course, the most important thing is, if you get an interview, an internship, or a job, let us know. If you have an opportunity for interviews, we can help prep you. These days, more and more initial interviews start with something called HireVue. So it's really a visual platform, and you'll see it's it could be just words on a screen. It could be a person asking you questions. Missy, why are you interested in the internship at JP Morgan Chase? Missy, if it's between this audit role or this other role, which role would you prefer and why? You may only choose one. Missy, looking back on your experience, what's one example that you would share with us right now about a conflict that you were able to manage? So a lot of initial interviews happen that way. Within Handshake, there's something called Big Interview, which is literally just video interviewing that you can be asked sample questions. You can play it back, see if you're playing with your hair, looking out the window, how many times you may say, you know, like, not sure, I don't know. Wait, just a minute, I'll be right there. Whatever the thing may be. And then you can delete it. You can play it back. You can really give yourself feedback or somebody else, delete it, and practice again. So we have lots of tools to help you. So when you do actually get to your actual interview, you are as prepared as you can be. And by the way, the best source of preparation are other students that have had internships at similar places. Why not let us help you? Any questions about that? Okay. What's the perfect resume? Here's what I would say. Everybody's resume is unique to themselves. What I think is perfect, you may not. But at the end of the day, your resume reflects you. Not me, not Missy, not anybody else on the screen. It reflects you. You get one chance to make a first impression. If you're comfortable with what it says, awesome. If you're not, then certainly we can talk about it. So your resume it should be one page, and it's one of the main things that you're going to focus your attention on. It's the document. It's also something that you're going to work on a regular basis. What it looks like today may be very different than what it looks like in December. So many of you probably still need to perfect your resume, and it literally needs to be a perfect resume. We see resumes that aren't always perfect. It will get in the way of your job search, and it could be something minor. It could be that you have the way you have your dates aligned, the recruiters have to look for it. It's not really clear. It could be that you've had a couple of promotions. Maybe you're working at Starbucks and you've gone from being a part-time barista to maybe being the night store manager, whatever that may be. So you want to be sure that the progression of how you've moved up in your leadership is really quite visible. We can help you do this. I cannot stress enough that spelling counts. Nobody needs to know that you live at 1000 River Road. Nobody needs to know that you live at, 4962 Argyle Road. It can just be your city, your state, and your phone number. It could just be Bergen County. It could be Morristown. It doesn't have to be anything. It could just be your email address and your phone number. Just be sure that email address is perfect, as is your phone number. And speaking of phone numbers, how many of you have actually set up your voicemail on your phones? If you haven't, consider doing it. I had a student over last spring not get a job because she kept getting a phone call from somebody. They were trying to set up an interview. She didn't recognize the number. She didn't answer the phone. They stopped calling. They didn't leave a message because it wasn't set up and they weren't sure they were reaching the right person. Could be something as simple as, hi, you've reached Paige. My number is, I'm not available to speak with you right now. Please leave a message and I will return your call as soon as possible. And then do it. Please. Nothing worse than answering your phone in the middle of a class. You want to be sure that you answer it at a time when you really can speak, especially if you're looking for new opportunities. Anybody have anything to add to that? Maybe an experience or two. Okay. So perfection, grammar and spelling. If you're currently at the opportunity, your internship, your job, the team, it's present tense. That really makes a difference. Grammar and spelling counts. Grammarly is an amazing tool. Microsoft Word can do spell check. You want to take advantage. Format consistency. You really want to make sure that everything is aligned. Within Silberman, we're very big on leading with your education, Fairleigh Dickinson University, Silberman College of Business. Why Silberman College of Business? Because we are one of the few business colleges that's accredited. It's a big deal. You want people to know that we're accredited. So Silberman College of Business, expected graduation date, May 24, May 25, whatever it may be. If your GPA is 3.2 or higher, by all means put it on. If it's not, no need to do that. Content and detail. Don't use the same adjective for every bullet point. It's a little boring. And you can definitely show that you can think outside the box. So if you've worked in a retail store and there was an expectation that you had to upsell clients for opening credit cards or buying additional appetizers or food or drinks that they didn't want, you want to make sure that you highlight that. If you've worked in the same restaurant, retail store, babysitting, something consistently for quite some time, demonstrated excellent fill in the blank, childcare, customer service, whatever it may be. The length, 1 page. At this point in time, nobody should really be on 2 pages. You get 1 page of real estate. If you're not sure, let us know. Well, how is the overall look and feel? My favorite color is orange. I don't know that I would ever use orange font on my resume. My husband's is purple. He definitely wouldn't use purple. So you just want to make sure that it's really very clean and easy to read. Okay. If you're a marketing student, you think you're interested in marketing and maybe you want to use a different font, certainly you can consider that. But where a lot of students and candidates go south is that they use too many fonts. So if you've got bullet points that are 12, 16, 9, 11, 7, I'm going to get a tummy ache. It's going to be very hard to read and to follow. I would pick 2 fonts, 1 font, maybe bold, not font, and then 2 points. Maybe your name and your email and your phone number is 13 or 14 point and everything else is 12. If you have a lot of information, you want to knock it down to 11, that might be manageable. If you make it less than 11 and I have to squint to read it and I wear glasses, I promise you, I'm not reading it. So if I say that, imagine what other recruiters are going to say when in fact they're looking at resumes all the time. Any questions? If you're asked to submit your resume to an applicant tracking system, if the recruiter says, I want you to apply for this role, here's the computer right now, send it. Make sure that you save your resume in a PDF file. If you send it in a Word doc, sometimes in some applicant tracking systems, it gets a little messy and gobbledygook, and that's going to work against you. So if you save it in a PDF, it's not going to change. This is not a good resume. Don't do this. You can see all the different bullet points, the spacing, Washington Wizards are bold, the date's bold down here, the date goes into the second line, not cool. The relevant skills are huge. Soft skills are amazing. I really hope that over the course of 4 years plus, that you really work on your soft skills, how you show up, how you present. When you walk into a room, do people look at you? Do you walk in like, oh, please, nobody turn around and look at me, and like get against the wall? If you're able to communicate clearly, if you have strong leadership skills, if you are adept at problem solving because you worked at a high-end, fast-paced restaurant where the turnover on a Saturday night was 200 tables, you want to be able to use all of those soft skills when you're describing what exactly you did in those opportunities. You don't have to list them separately, but I do want to see your computer skills, your technical skills. That's really important. Do you know, especially for our accounting and finance students, do you know QuickBooks? Do you know QuickBooks Online or desktop? Do you know SPS? Do you know Power BI? Are you really an expert in Excel? Because Paige Soltano, have recruited for finance roles where I've seen finance students crash and burn on an Excel test because they thought that they could do advanced functions and they couldn't. So really be honest with yourself with what you can do and your level of proficiency on those skills. Okay. This is a better resume for sure. We're very drawn to Michael Jordan. Obviously, this isn't Michael Jordan when he was playing basketball. This was what we envision his post resume after basketball. But everything is consistent. It's easy to read. The fonts are clean. This is what we would want you to pay attention to. Overall, you want to stay away from templates and generators. It'll be much harder for you to go back and change whatever you need. We have resume templates that are actually set up in Word that we're happy to send to you, and you can use them. It's a work in progress. Don't wait until the night before. That would be Wednesday, September 13th. Do not wait until that night to send us your resume and say, could you look at my resume for tomorrow? Because I'm telling you now, we won't. We made a pact. Not doing it. So it's really important that you take the time and you respect the time of all the other students and you work on it sooner than later. Okay, the elevator pitch we did. This is a YouTube video. I'm going to play it for everybody. It's not mine. Let's be very clear. It's not my 24-second one, but this is a fun one. So stay tuned. Maybe not. Here we go. Can everybody still see this?
You might have to change screens. Change.
Okay, hold on.
Hi, I'm Lauren Berger. This is my elevator pitch. Take one. Hi, Lauren. Oh my gosh. Hi, I'm Lauren, and I want to do everything, and I want to be your best friend, and please hire me. Hi, I'm Lauren, and I really want to work for you, and I'm so excited to be standing next to you right now, and I just want to tell you everything about me real quick. It'll only take me 10 minutes, even though we only have 30 seconds right now. Hey everybody, those elevator pitches were not so good, and I'm gonna make sure that after watching this video, you know how to do a much better version of the elevator pitch. If the executive that you would love to work for, right? The executive that works at that company that you just love was literally in an elevator with you, what would you say? It's actually a great way to think about how to present yourself in a professional setting. So I'm going to give you the intern queen take on the elevator pitch. So in order to put together an elevator pitch, we need a couple pieces of information. We're going to write them here. So the first up is going to be, who are you, right? As silly as it sounds, you gotta say your name. You know, I'm Lauren Berger. It's so nice to meet you, right? You gotta say it. So then you want to give them a little background. I'm Lauren Berger. I graduated from UCF and I'm a PR major. Okay. Now, depending on the situation, you might not be talking about college. If you meet someone years after college, you're probably going to talk about where you work right now. I'm Lauren Berger. I'm the community manager at a website called Intern Queen. And sometimes you need to give a little bit of extra context. So if you need to explain and provide context. So if you go to a school that, let's be real, no one's heard of, or if you work for a company where somebody may have not heard of it, you know what those companies are, you know what those schools are, make sure that you explain and you provide a little bit of context. You know, I go to Southwestern University, which is located in Lakeland, Florida, and known for their PR program. And I'm going to rely on you all to be the judge of if your story needs a little bit of context, okay? The next thing that you're going to do is make the connection. A lot of times when people do an elevator pitch, they're literally just like talking to no one. And the reality is that whenever you're pitching, you're always talking to someone, whether it's literally someone in an elevator standing next to you, whether you're pitching your business to Shark Tank, or you're just pitching it to a professor or a classroom. So you want to make that connection factor right away. You know, what are you trying to accomplish? Why do you want the person next to you to listen? Maybe you're a PR major and this is a big PR executive standing next to you. So I'm connecting what I'm doing to what the person standing next to me does. You know, I'd love for you to invest in my business because, right? You're connecting who you're talking to with what you're offering and what you're selling, which is sometimes yourself. Then the last thing that you want to do, and this is what a lot of people don't cover in the elevator pitch, but you got to make the ask, right? You got to make the ask. And this is the scary part because you're always putting yourself out there and you could be rejected. So I'm actually going to give you both steps. I'm going to say the ask, and then step 6 is going to be the closeout. A pet peeve that I have is a lot of students email me and they ask me for advice, but they're very unclear as to what I can actually help them with. So I'll get this big email with like, I am this, and this, thanks. And they sign their name. I don't know what to do with their email. So oftentimes I write them back and say, you know, hi Marisol, thanks for sharing. How can I help? Because I honestly don't know what they want from me. So I really encourage you to always think about the ask. For example, if you're in an elevator with someone and you want them to be your mentor, well, then let's ask them to be your mentor. If you're in the elevator with someone and you want to intern for them, let's ask for an internship. If you aren't sure what you want and you really just want to connect afterward and have a way to stay in touch, let's ask about that. So I think you have to make the ask and then you have to be ready for the closeout because typically you only have about 30 seconds and you're going to have to get out of there somehow, right? You want to always kill them with kindness, no matter what they say, and you want to close out in a very pleasant way. So let's go through all the steps real quick. So who are you? Hi, I'm Lauren Berger. Little bit of background. I graduated UCF and I was a PR major. Provide context. That's University of Central Florida, which is in the Orlando area. The connection. I know all about your company. I've read all about it. I know about all your clients and I am just such a fan, right? I made the connection. Now make the ask. You know, I am looking for an internship for next summer. I would love to connect with you and find out how to apply and get to the top of your list. The closeout. They say whatever they're going to say. Thank you so much. I'll certainly stay in touch. I'll make sure to email you right after this. So nice meeting you. Right? So the who you are, the background, provide context, make the connection, make the ask, and the closeout. So good luck, everyone. And let's do that elevator pitch one more time. Hi, I'm Lauren Berger. So nice to meet you. I graduated from the University of Central Florida. That's in Orlando. And I was actually a PR major. I know all about your PR company and I am just fascinated by it. I've read all about you. You know, I'd actually love to intern for you this summer. I've had a lot of other internships and I wanted to ask who I could contact to potentially apply for an internship with your company. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. It was so great meeting you. I'm going to email you tonight and I definitely want to stay in touch. Thank you.
Okay. So
Today we're going to talk about how to create a one sentence elevator pitch.
Uh-oh.
That's
We're gonna
right.
Stop
By
that
the
right
end
now. Okay. Sorry about that. So at Silberman College of Oopsies. At Silberman College of Business, we really like Lauren Berger. A lot of her information is specific to marketing and PR, but the reality is all of the tips that she shares can be used across any discipline. It's very practical. So if you don't right now follow at FDU Silberman on Instagram, I highly encourage that you whip out your phones and you do. And while you're at it, I really encourage you to follow Intern Queen as well, because she has really good opportunities. She gets a lot of real ambassador opportunities. That's like the real deal. It's not like spam stuff. You never know where it's going to go. And she has a lot of great information that you hear from us within placement and outreach, but she just packages it a little differently. So feel free to follow her too. Okay. So share the news. This is just an example of what to do for an elevator pitch, especially when you're meeting somebody while you are at the recruiting event. So the news, your name, your education, your work, your skills, your ask. The ask is the extra, but nonetheless. Everybody's will be a little different. What works for you tonight when you're practicing will be very different than what you end up doing over the weekend, which will be very different than what you actually use for next week. It's a work in progress. But have fun with it and ask your family, ask your roommates, ask your teammates for some feedback, because everybody will hear something different. It's a little weird. You might start to giggle, but it's okay. Have fun with it and see what they offer you. Any questions about that? Okay. Any questions? Any comments? So by a show of hands, how many of you actually have Suitable downloaded on your phones? Not seeing too many hands. Okay, one? Is that it? Just one hand? Okay, a couple of hands. So if you don't have if you don't have Suitable listed, if you don't have Suitable downloaded on your phone as an undergrad, I highly encourage you to do that right now. We track all of our undergraduates' professional development progress. And so just for attending today, you're going to get points on Suitable for attending this event. So I would encourage you, if you don't have Suitable, to please download it. Again, like everything else, you need to use your FDU email. Graduate students are not eligible at this time, but it's definitely something that undergrads want to participate in. And here, are you impressed, Missy? Here is the Suitable code. So if you would, please be sure that you capture this information right now so you get points for attending today's session.
Yeah, just to mention, we're giving away a portfolio to one person who attended today's session and the one next week.
And there's pretty cool prizes, or a chance for a cool prize if and when you attend the recruiting event for the finance and accounting recruitment career fair next week too.
Yep.
Okay, everybody has this. I'm going to stop sharing.
Paige, graduate students might actually be in Suitable, because I just checked today with Jasmine, and
Okay.
she's a grad student. They just have her as alumni, but she's in there.
Okay. All right. So if you're a grad student, you may want to download Suitable. I will put it in the chat. Okay. So does anybody have any questions? Maybe a question that's specific to yourself, or just a question about anything that we covered. The logo for Suitable is a red shield. Maybe it's orange. I guess it depends how your screen is. Anybody have any questions?
Yes, hello.
Hello? Yes?
Yes, I have a question about resumes. If I need help with my resume, who do I come to the office?
I can send you, Nishan, just remind me, are you a freshman?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a template of what we would encourage you to start with for your resume for your college career.
Okay, thank you.
And you just want to plug in, our template's user-friendly because it's a Word doc. So you want to use it, it'll be easy. If information doesn't pertain to you, don't worry about it. But the sooner you do it, the sooner you send it to me, the sooner I can review it, and the sooner you're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Elliot, did you have a question? Elliot?
thank you. Hi there. Yeah, I had a question also. I would like to take the chance to thank you, Melissa, and you, Paige, for doing this. It's very helpful.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, my question is that I'm a junior currently, and I already have like a draft of my resume. Is there a chance that you could look at it? Also, kind of like give me some feedback about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you send it to me, I'll put my email address in, although I suspect you've all have received emails from me since you've been here. Whoopsies, where's my chat? Yeah, you can send it to me. Full disclosure, I'm a little under the weather, so if you send it to me, I may not actually get back to you for a day or so, but I will get back to you. So it's Paige
Great.
Soltano, PaigeSoltano @fdu.edu.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Sure. Any other questions? Okay. If you have no
I have
other
a question.
yes, please.
It's about the Suitable app.
Yep.
So I have a question as to how do we achieve the badges of achievements?
So that's a great question. So within each competency, and they're tied to professional development and career development, and we just launched global competencies and another one that I can't remember. Missy, help me out. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Global business, interpersonal, and career development, right?
There's 4 competencies, and within each competency, there's a bronze level, a silver level, and a gold level. And it's our job to ensure that you, over the course of your career with FDU, that you achieve all of those to in fact walk with a cord on the day that you graduate. And so there's a lot of things that you can do as self-reflection that we can approve. And then as you participate in events like this, or if you attended the club fairs today on campus, the organizational club fairs on campus, there's other ways of getting points. I will give all of you a little preview that on October 25th, we're going to go, and we are really, we can only take 17 students. So it's really going to be first come, first serve. But we're going to be able to take 17 students to the United Nations for a tour, which is on First Avenue. And then from there, we're going to walk over to the Bloomberg offices and get a tour of the Bloomberg offices as well. And so participating in that is another way to get points. But you will see, it's almost like gaming, quite frankly, right? So if you really, really like gaming, you will see at any point who's the leader for freshmen, for seniors, for juniors. Missy runs a lot of really cool competitions to ensure that students are really engaged. And it's just another way to make sure that not only are you doing all of your academics, but you're really working for yourself, on yourself, for all of your professional development, for your summer jobs, your part-time jobs, maybe some teams, leadership opportunities. And ultimately, when you graduate, you can complement all of your academics and experiences together. Missy, you going to share something? Missy, are you sharing?
Yeah, can you see the screen?
All it says is you started sharing. It doesn't say anything.
Oh. Hold on, my Zoom's going crazy.
It's the heat. It's definitely the heat.
I was going to show the different events we have, but
well, if you
things too slow.
okay, I highly encourage everybody to follow on Instagram at FDU Silberman. There's like so many different events that we do. You can also check the calendar on the FDU website if you go to Silberman. We offer certainly Pat's going to have a recruiting prep next week. So if any of your friends missed this, you want to encourage them to attend next week. We have the recruiting event next Thursday, but there's also other events. So you'll see on both campuses over the next semester, employers and residents. And an employer in residence is an opportunity for an employer that we work with at Silberman College of Business to come in and speak to our students for 20 minutes of me time. So it's not a job interview. It's not an interview for an internship. It's just 20 minutes of, you know, hi, my name is Anthony. Here's my elevator pitch. It's worked. What do you think? hi, my name is Anthony. Paige and Pat told me my resume is great. My father said it was great. What do you think? And it's just an opportunity to talk to an employer without saying or doing something that would really hurt you in getting an opportunity. You can't stick your foot in your mouth. You can't embarrass yourself because there's nothing at stake except 20 minutes of really strong you time talking to an employer. There's no downside. And oh, by the way, you get points for that too. So Missy just posted our calendar. It's really tiny because we've been very busy all summer while you guys were all enjoying. We were very busy planning and more planning, but this will tell you all the different events. If any of you have a side hustle or a business idea, we offer BYOB, bring your own business. We help students really understand what they need to do for a marketing plan, what they need to do to scale their business. We work very closely with the Small Business Development Center. That's something else. If you're an absolute finance whiz and you want to participate in the Cheddar Bowl, we're going to be sending information out about that in the next couple of weeks. Think Jeopardy! It's a really great opportunity to compete. 3 FDU students compete like in a Jeopardy fashion, and we set you up and there's a practice round. And then you really need to know stuff about finance or wealth management, and you don't need to be a finance major to compete. And then the winner, the FDU winner, then goes on to compete against a student at Seton Hall and Rutgers. And it's really very cool. So we have that event going on. We have lots of different events. And that's just for the fall semester. We'll have other events in the spring too.
Yeah, so just make sure you guys check out the page online. It's on our Silberman page under events. So if you want to look at what else we have, it's here, and it's also on Handshake.
Any questions? For anybody who came in a few minutes late, I'm happy to stay on and answer your questions. For anybody who's been here since 2:30, stay cool, drink water. We wish you well, and be sure to send your resumes if you need them reviewed prior.